Hey guys, welcome to OG Trades. Today we are discussing the FTI performance manual, how to become a professional trader. Today we'll go over chapter 6 and chapter 7. Chapter 6 marks the end of module 1, while chapter 7 is the beginning of module 2. So let's dive in. Chapter 6, identity before strategy. Long before you master the market, you must decide who you are becoming. We've been saying so much about identity, remember from the beginning, using the bottom to up approach, where you impute yourself, your characters, your disciplines, everything about you into your identity of who you're becoming or who you want to be as a trader. So, like I said, long before you master the market, who you are, you decide who you must become or who you are becoming. The good thing is, whoever you are now, you can still change. Every decision casts a vote. Every action reinforces identity. Following your plan, journaling, and respecting risks are votes to becoming a professional. Every decision you make in the market is a vote of confidence of who you are or who you're becoming and who you want to be. So each decision counts. So make it count too. And we have the four identities where there is the gambler, the student, the professional, and the performer, or the performer before the professional. These books want to develop you into the fourth identity, which is the professional. We all want to attain the highest professional we want to be in any given field we are. So becoming someone new, replace. If you want to become someone new, there are certain things you need to replace. Replace over. You say you replace over trading. You become the kind of trader who doesn't want to overtrade. Or you build the character behind it. Not temporal motivation saying, "Oh, I want to stop overtrading." No, you've said that multiple times. Me and you, we know that. I've said that multiple times. But you need to take action. So you say, what are the characteristics of someone who doesn't overtrade? You build yourself into that. That's building your identity. It's not just about saying you want this, you want that. You build yourself to become who you want to be by simple character changes. The small ones, the boring ones, you develop them. Then protect that identity. You do not allow a losing or winning trade to define who you are. You define by the standard of your identity, not your P&Ls. Let me read that again. Don't be defined by the P&Ls, be defined by the standard of your identity. Remember that you can have a losing day, you might have a winning day. Most people, me personally, when I have a losing day, it sends me into this self-doubt. When I have a winning day, I go into a confidence mode. You see, that's someone who doesn't have a strong identity. Now I'm building myself to become better, to have a strong identity of regardless of the P&Ls. Because I followed a certain rule, because I followed my rules, because I know who I am becoming. The PNL doesn't affect my identity. So I might have a bad day. I'll say, okay, what am I going to take out of this bad day? I might have a losing trade. I'll say, what am I taking out of this losing trade? I followed all my rules. It means I can still follow my rules and lose a trade. I can still not follow my rules and win a trade, you see? Because I've identified who I am and who I want to be. The PNLs doesn't define me anymore. Build yourself towards that. That's the level of professionality you want to get to. You also need to have build a pyramid towards it. Your identity defines your decisions, your habits, your performance, then results. You see that? Identity, decisions, performance, and results. That's what professionals build from bottom. Remember we said in chapter 2 or chapter 3 where we say from the bottom to up approach, where I read in the Black Horse Thinking. You need to apply that in every aspect of your trading. Don't start from up. I started from up. First year of my trading, I started looking at profits. And I did make money. But I also realized that on the red days, I feel worthless. On the green days, I feel overconfident over the moon. And that needed to change drastically because of, you know, it turned me into an emotional trader. Let me put it that way. So you don't need to be repeating the same mistake that I once did. Build your identity, and the results will speak for itself. You also need to have an identity filter. Before every decision you make, you ask yourself a question: What is this what the trader that I'm becoming would do? Ask yourself that question. The type of trader I want to become. This decision I'm trying to take now. Am I going to do that? Is it the type of trader I want to become? You always ask yourself that question, you'll make better decisions. I'm going to leave you this the closing reflection on chapter 6. It says, trading is ultimately about becoming the kind of person who can consistently execute opportunities, build the person, and performance will follow. So it's not about buying or selling profits. No. When you consistently execute opportunities, you build a system, build the habits and the identity of someone who can consistently execute, the performance will always be there for you to, always be a good performance, whether you want it or not. It's going to show because you've already. It's got like, when you're building something, you're building an app or anything, there's a back end and there's a front end. You build the back end, the front end is what the users see, but the back end is what is holding everything. So build yourself. Your strategy earns you your entries. Your identity earns the consistency to execute them. So yes, that's what every strategy works. But whoever is behind those executions differs. So we might have the same strategy, but the result might differ because one might be having a biased identity and one might have a strong identity, and they execute consistently on that particular identity. Using that particular trait they have, they execute well. But the other ones, they only rely solely on the strategy, and they're not consistent. They're emotional on the red, emotional on the wind. It's not. So let's go back to model 2. When you've built your identity as a trader, now you need to build an operating system. We call this the trading operating system. The FTI trading operating system. Now, what is a trading operating system? A strategy tells you where to enter and exit. Remember that your strategy just gives you entries and exits. A trading operating system governs how you prepare, manage risk, execute, review, recover, and improve. One wins the trade, the other builds career. Yes, a strategy will win you trade, might win you trade over time, but it can't give you the consistency you're looking for in the market because you need to have a fallback, a defined operating system where this is what I'm going to do when this happens. This is what I'm going to do when this happens. Your strategy only gives you entry and exit. It doesn't even give you risk. It doesn't even give you, other things that you need to do. But building an operating system around I'm not saying your trading strategy need to be isolated. No, it's part of your trading operating system. You integrate it, you build it into it, so that you build your career on it. One wins trade, the other builds career. Remember that. Why the system matters. System reduce emotional decisions. Just as brushing your teeth is automatic, professional trading routines should become automatic. Like I said this previously, where it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to wake up, have cold plunge. You might start from a limiting place. Say, okay, I just want to trade only Asia session, or I only want to trade London session or New York session. You stick to one routine. You follow it. Yes, you might be limiting yourself or you're limiting your scope. But remember this: you can always grow. You just need to be consistent enough. Retrieve data as you reflect on them and grow. Every elite performer has one, that's for sure. Pilots, surgeons, athletes, and military units all rely on systems because we humans we become inconsistent under pressure. System protect us from ourselves. The hidden cost of chaos. Many bad trading. Many bad trading days begin before the market opens. It's not just about the loss itself, where the trade and it goes against me. It can be with poor sleep, poor stress management, rushing into the market without preparation, or skipping preparation entirely. I've had days where I wake up, I've not really done other things I need to do before sitting on my laptop or my trading space to go into the market. Just because I open my laptop first upon waking up, and I'm seeing, remember your strategy might give you it just gives you entries and exits, and I'm seeing entries almost immediately on the strategy that I've already marked out on my previous day or something like that. Now, because I've not prepared, I'm not done my pre-market analysis. There are other things you need to do. I'm probably say I like having my coffee before sitting on my desk. I have I like taking a walk before coming to my stretching, something like that, just to get your mind ready for the day. Now I dive into this trade. Now let's forget about say stretching, doing other things. Going into that trade, I went into that trade unprepared. If it is a win, within me, I would know that it feels like luck. There is no preparation behind this win. If it's a loss, I will beat myself up so much that I could have avoided this loss. You see that there is no win either way. So you need to prepare ahead. You need to have that fallback plan where no matter what happens with the P&L, your identity still remains. Now, reason why you need to build this operating system, say you don't need to be disciplined. Look at this, discipline loves structure. There are a lot of people that say, I'm a disciplined person, I don't think there is anyone who can stay disciplined. for a very long time. I mean, it's more like motivation. We all get bursts of motivation one or two times in a day, or in a few months. Few depends on, I don't know how your motivation comes, but same goes as discipline. No one stays disciplined for that long. They stop trying to be disciplined. You build a structure that makes disciplined behavior the default. If you look at the professional traders, the hedge funds, like I've seen a video where someone explained this in detail. He said they don't they, in a hedge fund, they don't try to tell you don't trade, don't execute more than this, don't do more than this. That is a system, an automatic system already that if you're doing the wrong thing instantly, you're locked out. There is no messing around. So this is why you need to also build certain systems. Maybe you don't have the resources to build high sophisticated systems to execute such commands on an instant. You can do that within your own structure. Build a small structure around yourself. Say, I want to do this at a certain time. I want to do this on a different time. I don't want to do this by this time. You follow them. It's as simple as that. You don't. It's the fact. Stop trying to become disciplined. Build a structure that will make you being disciplined as a default. I'll leave you this on chapter 4. Your strategy tells. Sorry, on chapter 7. We're closing this on chapter 7. Your strategy tells you how to trade. Your operating system determines whether you will still be trading in 5 years from now. That's very good. Your structure tells you how to. Your strategy tells you how to trade. Your operating system determines whether you still be trading 5 years from now. Remember, the trading game, you're not here for the short term. You need to look ahead 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Now, the strategy just tells you in and out how I'm going to be in and out of this trade. System, your operating system builds or determines whether you'll be here the next 5 years, the next 10 years. There are people who have been trading for the past 20 years. Ask them how they've survived that long. It's not just about strategies. Funny enough, they might have hopped from one strategy to another. In the past 5 to 6 years, they might have changed strategies like 3 or 2 times. Me personally, since I started trading, I've been in trading for the past 3 years now, consistently, and I've changed strategy like twice. I still trade my strategy I came in with trading, but I've changed I've changed twice. The one like I can confidently say I've changed my strategy twice, but operating system remains the same. I still trade a certain type of pair. I still trade so time. Those are little things you put into an operating system. Get the book. When you get the book, it has a proper manual on how you can build an operating system. Remember, every trader has an identity. You build your identity, you build your system around that identity so that you can follow those rules. It's an individual game, but also there are proven steps that you can follow. If you want the full book, use the link in my bio or go to one of my social media, because yet I can't still post links on this account yet. So go to my IG or my TikTok. You can use the link there and get the book so that you can follow through the manual on your own time, because this is just a book to read. It's a manual to follow, to refer back and go back and forth. Alright, see you in the next video.